Well, hi, good morning. Thanks so much for joining me in my shop here this morning for what I'm anticipating is going to be a very, very productive session with this radio. And let me say too, if you have succeeded in watching all these videos as I've done them, then my hat's off to you. I thank you very, very much for having taken this rather long and at times circuitous journey with this radio. But I think I'm right at the edge of success with the alignment process on here finally, and I think I'm glory bound. That's feeling pretty good here, but you know, I haven't turned that receiver on yet. Uh-oh. I'm going to turn it on and get a different result again today. Let's find out. Just move this in a little closer here. Okay, here goes the power switch. Ha! Voila! Fantastic. We're exactly where we were at the end of the last video. Okay, so I'm going to run through the whole process. Yesterday I discovered that the IF certainly appears to be misaligned by about 100,000 hertz. So I'm going to realign it based on what I'm seeing on all my equipment and everything else, and go from there. So the first step is to get the IF aligned, and that is the first step. Oh my God, it's the first step in the whole alignment procedure. Okay, I think I've succeeded with everything here. Let's go at it. I'm rereading this, you know, as if I haven't read this 1,000 times already, but I'm reading it again. Primary and secondaries of TR 201 and 203 in any order, which is unusual. You usually specify an order to do the slugs. Now we're going to have to do this with a marker frequency. It's going to come out of this old guy here, which yesterday he performed quite well. Talking about this old generator here. You know, the thing about military quality equipment is it's built with very good parts, and of course it's built very well. So it's not too surprising that something like this can work. I've never taken the cabinet off this and even looked inside. As far as I know, it works absolutely the way it was intended, except I have to keep an eye on this meter, because something has occurred a couple of times that caused that meter to go right over really hard. So I don't want that to happen. So, but it didn't happen yesterday. So I don't know, maybe it was some fluky thing I was doing. I don't know. I got to keep an eye on that. We're going to count on that for producing the 10.7, 10.6, 10.8 marker frequencies as best we can. So you can see my frequency counter is taking a break right at the moment, but it'll come around in a few minutes, I'm pretty sure. So that's a little unfortunate, because the first thing we want to start doing again is marking the frequencies on this curve and then making adjustments to suit afterwards. So on the SDR, you can see the sweep frequency. It's from below 99 to above 10.6, with 100 more or less in the middle there. I'll put the red line on 100. It's a red line on my screen. What it looks like on your screen, I'm not sure. But that marks this frequency at 100 megahertz. That's roughly where we're doing all this work. Okay, so luckily my frequency counter has settled down. So the output from the marker generator is loosely coupled here. You don't have to look at that anymore. Look back over here. This is the marker generator. I've just clipped it near the terminal that appears to be the place to inject it, in the hopes I can leak in enough signal without upsetting everything. So we'll take a close look at that. We're looking for something up in here. I'm going to step right in front of the camera if I'm not careful here. You know, I'm going to end up probably... Oh yeah, that's not going to help either. Okay, not much to see in this camera anyway. Maybe there, you can see my arm doing the signal generator. That's exciting enough. Okay, we're gonna jump up the power on this, and I'm looking at the scope. There we are. Okay. How's that meter? Meter's fine. So now if you look at the oscilloscope very carefully, this is just a little hard to do in the camera. A little bit of a tangle up here. Okay, so we're looking right on the very, very top of this. Either one, they're the same thing basically. And you can see a little shake there. Very hard to see. You know what? I know what the problem is. The camera has failed to focus again, so I'm going to fix that. Okay, that's a little sharper. And if you look close, you can see that the peak is kind of looks a little shaky. That's the other signal coming from the other signal generator. That's happening at 6:30. It should be at 0.7, not 0.630. Well, pretty crowded in here just now. There we go. So what I want, so I'm marking the top of the peak. I'm going to make a little sketch here, so I'll be a little more sure of what I'm up to. Pencil with some lead, please. Huh. Okay, I'll use a pen. So all I'm doing is I'm just marking these frequencies. I've just made that simple sketch there. So right now we're looking up here. It's about here on the curve. And oh no, my frequency counter took. Oop, oop, oop. Went nuts again, but it was 620 or 630. So put 10, 630. I'm going to try to identify these 2 points here. I'm just going to, well, just forget the counter for a minute, and that's down a little bit. So basically, I'm coming down to the first line across. I'll use that, and the frequency is 88, 80, 88. Okay, patience is required here. My little counter to fix itself. Okay, and you know what? That's a great opportunity for me to go and drink more coffee. I'm going to do that. Well, okay, coffee's not ready, but I see the counter is, so let's carry on. So I have the mark. Very hard to see, probably on the camera impossible, but it's right on this line here. We're going to mark that down as 10,670. That's not very much different. That's 40 from here to here. It really should be 100 from here to the first line. If I have this line down low enough, let's look at their diagram again. Oh my God, I'm writing on the back of the diagram. So they expect 100 between here and here, and that's roughly, that's about a quarter of the way down, third of the way down. In my sketchy diagram, I'm a little higher. When you look at the actual scope, I'm way high on this. I shook them down a lot more. Come all the way down to here and make the measurement. Okay, let's do that. We'll use the second line. So I'm going to change the frequency down. The little wobble now is centered on that line. Now we're reading 10,741. 10,740. 10.7 would be what we'd be looking for if I'm at the right distance down. Okay, we'll go to the other side of the curve. We'll stop at the first line. That's right. Yeah, best I can make it right about there. 10,560. 10,560. And we'll go down a little further. Seeing a bit of a hump out here. Doesn't look quite as straight as the other side. Okay, we're down to the second line. 10,460. We're also supposed to look at the width right at the bottom here. So we'll do that. And keep going down the same side. So the squiggle really stretches out in there. So a little bit tricky to get this with any precision, but I think I have the squiggle set here now. And we're looking at 10,388. 10,388. Okay, and we'll go the other side. Just check the very top. Okay, that's right on the top. 10,630. Yep, that's exactly what I got before. And we'll go down, way down to the near the bottom. What's that give us there? 10,861. 10,860. Okay, what is this telling us? So, center is off. From here to here, this is 670 and this is 570. That's 100, so it's 100 kilohertz here. It's supposed to be 200. And we have another line. I didn't draw it here. Another line. I'm drawing it way low on my curve, but I think actually it's up a bit. That was 10,740 and 10,4. That's called 440. Makes it easier to calculate. 740, 440. That's 300. Wow, my the way I drew this doesn't match at all, does it? 300. Wow. Okay, I got conflicting stuff here now to think about. Down at the very bottom, where you should have, I think you should have 400 altogether. So you're measuring across the bottom. 100, 100, 100, 100, 400. It should be 400. So we could call this 860 and we could call this 360. Just to cheat and make it easy. That'd be 500. Right? It's a little more than 500. So, this is probably not a problem. By the time you get this low on the curve, things are pretty quiet in the radio. So the only difficulty with having it really wide on the bottom is you're starting to get the next stations coming in a little bit. I was listening to my FM radio. When I have an FM radio on my nightstand. I have a little earphone. I usually listen a little bit, just the news and stuff like that. The other day I was listening to it, and the station sounded just fine. Just a voice talking, but I could hear little ticky sounds. I looked over, and instead of being tuned right on the right frequency, it was one number off. So I think I'm listening to 95.1. It was 95.2. And I reached over, I just put it over to 95.1, and it disappeared. But I think that was the adjacent station making it into the curve on that radio. That's what I think I was hearing, because there was a station right adjacent to it. So that would be the problem here. To get this thing too wide, you're going to pick up more than one station basically at one time, where you're going to hear noise and crap from the other station. So this, if this line is correct, this is way too small. If this line is correct, in other words, if this line is really this line, then it's way too wide. That's the conflict. Is it too wide, or is it not wide enough? So looking back at the curve itself, just see if I can just turn it up just a wee bit here. It is misshapen. There's a bit of a bump out here. And I'm running with... No, I'm not. Now I am. Oh, that was good. Good move there, Jim. That was stupid. Where was it? Oh, for crying out loud. So what I did, I changed the output of my signal generator. I think it was right about there, wasn't it? Well, where does it occur? Let's ask that question. Where do you get 100 here? Well, if it's starting at 6:30, it's obviously 5:30, so that's the question. Where is 5:30 on there? Where is 5:30? Okay, and that's 5:30. 5:30. It's in the right area. It's right about here. You know, the look of it isn't right. The look looks too sharp. You really want this, ideally this is a square. It comes up perfectly straight, goes straight across and goes down. That's the ideal that we would love to achieve. Kind of fat chance you can't do that, but surely I can round this off a little more. First deal is to get this from 6:30 to, or yeah, 10.630 to 10.7. That's the first stage. Okay, here we go. It's all going to go wonky. While I do this, I have 4 things to turn, 4 slugs to move around. I've been talking about the top slug and bottom slug. I really should be saying primary and secondary, but I don't know which one's the primary. The word is the primary shifts the frequency. So I'm about to turn 1 slug. You can see that the bump out here was really from this slug not being quite right. It's not changing frequency much. Okay, so I'm going to go down to the bottom slug on this one transformer. There it goes. Okay, and we're turning it. Well, that's a little rounder, but we're not getting it over. You know, I encountered this problem before. By the time I get over to where it should be, 10.7, the shape is way off. Let's do the other transformer and see if this is really the case. Which could be why I ear tuned it to this location. By ear tuning, well, that's a lot more interesting. I like that curve. This is sharp. This is not nearly as sharp. I like that. But it didn't move over. In fact, I'm going to put the mark on 720. Oh my gosh, I got my head backwards here. Yeah, my head is backwards. What I mean by that is the just naturally I'm thinking the lower frequencies are over here. Hey, what's happened? Someone's come to join me. So lower frequencies are over here. So I got to get this right. So that's where I really want the peak to go. And I was mentally trying to push it this way. It's got to go this way. Hey, Shadow, what are you doing? She just came in from the garage. That's over a bit. That's the top slug on one can. Here's the top slug on the other can. Okay. Now we'll see if we can move the others under it. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, look at that lovely shape there. That's going down though, so we're losing a little bit of strength. I like it up like this. Shadow, you got to be a little careful here. Don't. Well, I'm going to force the peak onto 10.7. Let's see if I can do it with a different slug. Going to close now. The other one. move something a little bit and go in the lower slug. Okay. The 10.7's actually gone past here. Actually gone past it. I wonder if I should really be doing it way down here. But I think bigger is better as best you can. And the bigger you get it, the stronger signal is fed on into the radio. Oh, this is nice. I'm just, because it doesn't tell you which one to do, I'm just going at them now. Shape looks really good. I can see a bump right here. See if we can get rid of that bump a little bit. Not with this one. The middle is dead on 10.7 now. Nope, we're not going to get rid of it with this one. How about this guy? Okay, that got rid of the bump. To my eye, that's a lovely curve there. Just looks perfect. And we might ask ourselves, okay, so this looks about the right, this graticule line here looks just about the right level to do the down measurement, so let's do it. Let's see what we got. From 10.7, go down that way to about there. What do we get? We get 10.6. Well, 10.61. Well, what happens if you move this to 10.6? How far does it go on that curve? 10.6 right there. Well, you can hardly tell the movement. That's a few hertz in that's a few hertz in 1,000 is what that we're doing here. Okay, that's great. Let's go look at the other side. I mean, it's balanced, so it should be exactly the same. So I got it right about there. 10.815. Okay. Shadow, you've been really helpful this morning. Let's go down to the bottom. Go down in this area here. That's maybe just a little lower than what they're showing. You want your head rubbed, do you, Shadow? Okay. What do we got? 10.9. Fantastic. We'll go the other way. Down right around here. And what do we got? See, right on that line. 10.52. It's a little closer to 5 would be nice. Shadow, you're sitting on the key paper. 10.6. I think we're pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Now, the next thing is the transformer in the tuner. Oops, not with those instructions. In tuner LP and LS. I'm actually list them first, and I'm doing them second. My thinking there is you get the IF aligned, and then you bring the tuner into alignment with it. So let's see. I'm going to go in that transformer that's in the tuner box. That's the only thing I've adjusted in the tuner box. And what am I trying to do? For crying out loud. Maximum, optimum amplitude and symmetry. I like the symmetry there. Going down. Okay, that's one slug of 2. This is a transformer, so we'll get into the other slug. I've set it a little off. Oh. What do we do about this? Look at, there's that much more stuff there, but way off on frequency. What's that shape mean? Does that mean it should be right up here? What happens if we set this way up here? This is tricky now because I'm looking at the response of a transformer that's going through two more transformers on the way to showing up on the scope. We're way off now, I'm pretty sure. Let's measure the peak frequency here. Okay, that's the peak frequency. Oh, 100 out. Now, is it possible I can pull it back with the other IF cores? That one's not going to do much in that respect. Oh, we're getting a very interesting shape there. 10.8 is marked on there. 10.7 is over this way. Let's just keep going now. That's pretty interesting. It said in any order. That in any order might even apply to the tuner thing. Oh, look at that. Holy smokes. There is a response curve. Wow. Okay, what's in the middle of that? Excuse me there, little cat. Get in. You picked a bad spot. Let me just go under here. Measure that center frequency. That would be the center frequency, 10.788. Let's put this right on 10.7. We have a target. It's going to take all morning to do this. Don't stick your nose in there. Don't stick your nose in there. Something overheating? Is that what you're smelling? Okay. Keep it flat and get it over there. Now that would be a miracle. Keep it flat and get it over there. Let's try this one in the tuner again. Okay, and the other slug in the tuner. That's a wonderful curve. If that's 200 wide at the top, it might be 300 or 400. I don't know. Offhand, I should have made a note of the spacing in the gradicules. I can still do that. So, what's the frequency difference between this and this spot? Following the gradicules here. How far apart are they? Okay, so that's. Wait a minute. That's on top of one graticule. 755. Let me go to the other graticule, roughly here. 920. Almost 200. Almost 200. So if it's almost 200, then this must be close to 100 here. Let me just check that. Whoop, going the other way. 1063. Back in the middle. 763. It's really a nice curve. It's just not on 10.7. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Stop the sniffing in here. Okay, you're gonna get a zappo in the schnoz at any moment. Better get that on camera if it happens. Okay, can we push it a little more to the right? Let's put this back on 10.7 for a target. Okay, everybody lean to the right. Lean to the right. slug. These are the IF slugs. Well, I mean, they can only deal with what they're being sent, more or less. There certainly is an art side to this thing. I'm in the tuner again. Can you hear my cat purring? This one has a bigger effect. So in the tuner, that's one slug with the other slug. Oh, look at that. Kind of lost the flat top a little bit. Okay, back over to the IF. We're definitely 10.7 right in the middle. Why would I turn anything anymore at this point? Okay, so now we want to come based on their chart, their diagram again. This looks very much like their diagram. If I reduce the signal here and get it. I slapped the microphone. Get it roughly the size of this thing. What if I just do this? Got a lot of light on here. Let's dose some light. What is the chance that we can see that right through the paper? Want more light to dose here. Well, it gets a little fuzzy, but it looks to me like it's the one on the paper is wider down here than this one. And you know what? That doesn't matter. I mean, if you can get this to be sharper down here, I don't think that's a problem. I think we're really on the money here. Okay, so let's just pop some lights back on. Slap another microphone rather. You're really enjoying this, aren't you? Okay, making the measurement now. Where is 10.8? 10.8 is right there. Wow, it's not quite going down. 10.8. Come over at 10.6. This is 10.6. It's very similar, maybe slightly further down. Well, how much better could I possibly get it? So we're trying to capture, I guess, 200 kilohertz. And again, if this was square and out like that, I think it's fine. I think we're good. The real problem would be now, if this is a little extra wide, so it's capturing the signal quite nicely up here, is this gone extra wide and now we're about to hear the next station. So we go down there and find out. Of course, it's hard to hear stuff this far down on the curve. Like it's not loud in the speaker. Here we are. And the frequency is 10.5. Oh man, we're golden. I don't think I can do it any better than that. Are you leaving? Yep. She's gone. She's out of here. She's gone. Well, that's great. That's great. So I hadn't turned my pot of coffee on earlier, so it's on now. No doubt the coffee's brewed. I'm going to let this sit here while I go and drink some coffee and kind of quietly celebrate how this has come out. And we'll see if it's still the same when I get back, which will just be a fraction of a second in your time. Okay, I think we're ready to move on to the next stage of things, which is to do the S-curve and balance the detectors, basically what we're doing. So I'm going to cut the power off. Okay, that I have to remove the connection here of this little circuit that I have, the detector circuit that's allowing those peaks to be shown on the oscilloscope. But it'll interfere with the remainder of the test work. How many times have I taken this in and out of here? There we go. Okay, I'm going to leave the circuit up here because maybe I'm going to need it again. So it's still soldered in, but only the ground side is soldered in. So there's nothing hooked up to the radio here. Still have another test point hanging out here, waiting. That comes when we do the multiplex. And onward we go. I notice the meter on my old machine is just fine. Excellent. I don't know what happened to it there, but okay. Now it looks like I must have knocked this camera. That's what's happened here. So we're going to try to develop the S-curve, and all it should take is for me to clip the scope to the S-curve test point, okay, which can be picked up right here. Yeah. Why? Okay, so I'm not going to drag you through figuring out what little problem I've got going here, that there's no S-curve on there. I'm going to sort it out myself. Oh boy, I almost broke into a sweat here trying to figure out what the problem was, but the problem could be I just don't have the radio turned on. Let's turn it on. Okay. There we are. Ooh, look at that thing. Let's start by trying to cut down the input level. Oh man, what does that mean? Oh boy, what I'm doing is I'm turning the level up and down over here. Oh, what does that mean? Yikes. That means don't listen to weak stations. Why turn down the RF and you get that? You would think, if anything, you turn up the RF and at some point you're overdriving things and you get stuff like that. Why down there? Generally speaking, alignments are done with the least amount of signal you can get away with. Let's see what we can do with that. So the activities for that, it's all down here. Adjust primary for maximum symmetrical response of S-curve, 10.7 marker centered. Adjust secondary for optimum straightness. So you have to get this thing tuned to the right frequency and then shape it right. Adjust primary. Now which one's the primary on this transformer? For maximum symmetrical response. Adjust the secondary for optimum straightness. Symmetrical response. Well, I would say it's not a symmetrical response right now, is it? No. Okay, well, let's see what happens. It's only one transformer. It's not a combination of transformers at this point. I'm going to assume again the primary is at the top. It's just a wild guess. Here we go. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Okay, and we'll do the lower slug and see what that one does to it. Oh, look at that. Cleaned it right up. Beautiful. So this is probably the primary then, because the primary is used for maximum symmetrical response of the S-curve. So it doesn't say make it symmetrical, it just says make it maximum symmetrical. Okay, and then we'll go to the other slug, the upper slug. And now we're trying to straighten out this flat part as much as possible. So there's a kink in it right here. There's a kink. this can't deal with the kink. Okay, we'll try the other slug. The other slug do the kink. Okay, let's put it way out like this and to see what the top slug does. Okay, let's go back to the bottom slug. I'm gonna get rid of that kink. Now, I've got 10.7 bopping around in here. No, 10.9. Let's put this down to 10.7 and see what we get. Well, 10.7 is right here, and either side of 10.7. It seems to be in the middle of something, but it's not putting a nice clear pip on there for us to look at. It seems like as I cross 10.7, the image is swinging through some kind of, I'll call it a 0 point or something. So I think we're on 10.7. Let me get this thing out of here. Okay. I'll go back to adjusting this one transformer again. Optimum straightness. Can't get rid of the kink. I hate to do this. I could go back and twiddle some stuff in the IF or the tuner in particular. For some reason I have a feeling it may be there. Because I cannot unkink this. In the lower slug here. Unkink that guy. Also completely lost the 0 line. Should be in the middle. It's completely out. More like this, where it's up and like that, which is that kink. Okay, let's go look for the kink in the other transformers. So starting with the upper slug. I have a flag on my tool here so I can return it. This is one of them. Not doing anything to the kink. Back where it was. This is the other slug in the tuner transformer. If I can get in there. It's tricky to get into it. Doesn't want to go. There it goes. Okay. No, that's not. Well, wow, way out now. Way out from where it was. Yikes. I wonder if that really makes a difference, that little kink there. Okay, trying the IF transformers. I'm just about crying doing this, looking at my flag. That guy's not doing anything in terms of the kink. Down below. Is this an indication that the diodes in the detector are not in balance themselves? Oh, look at that. And I just did something really quite terrible to the tuning of the IF. What's more important? Straight line here? Or IF looking beautiful? If I return it, it's like this. Wow. Get it really bad the higher up I go on this one. One more slug to try. I returned that one more or less where it was. Boy, I was hair tuning those things just before I started the video to get a really nice. No, this one won't change it either. So one of them does change it. This one. Maybe it's a little of this and a little of that. What about that signal level thing? When I turn the signal level up, we get something totally different. I think it's time to listen to the radio. Or should I continue? Well, the radio should work well as a mono receiver at this point. Why don't we do that? So to switch to an antenna, it's going to take me a moment here. I'll switch it around. So you see the sweep has gone on the scope, and that's because I turned off that signal generator entirely to get it out of here. I hooked up antenna, just a regular rabbit ear antenna. Let's turn up the radio. Nice hiss. Okay. Now, as soon as I tune the radio a little bit, I'm undermining everything I've done in a sense. Take a lot of effort to get it tuned right back here, but I did that by measuring the local oscillator on my SDR. I can do exactly that same thing again. I can return it right to this exact tune point, which needs to match the sweep generator if and when we go to use that. Okay, tune in the radio. Go see what we can pick up. I'm going to tune it here.
From a mom with 15 years between her two children. Life is unpredictable. Hey, Rachel here from My Better Mortgage. I know all too well we can't always be prepared for what life throws at you. Yeah, like a spoonful of mashed carrots. If you give me 20 minutes of your time, I'll show you how My Better Mortgage can help you recover from life's unpredictability. Visit mybettermortgage.ca.
Welcome home to Midhurst Valley. Nestled in a just north of Barrie and an hour from the GTA, these singles and semi-homes are enriched by all four seasons. Whether it's in your nature to go for a quick adventure or have a shopping trip to remember, you'll have it all and some more at Midhurst Valley. New singles and semis coming this fall to Midhurst starting from the 700s. Visit midhurstvalley.com for details. Midhurst Valley. It's
Nobody does bacon like Wendy's. And right now, you can get a Wendy's Bacon Deluxe for just $4. It's a great one.
Waving this antenna around my shop is very scary. It's metal electrodes going
Canadian
everywhere.
beef plus all your favorite toppings. Get your bacon.
Clearly, there's a big directionality problem here.
The Wendy's Bacon Deluxe for
So,
just
sounds
$4.
good.
At participating Wendy's
Sounds
on
good.
October 10th. Taxes extra.
CHAY is Canadian owned and locally operated. We're Fresh 93.1, Barrie's hit music.
Back to school might seem like the vacation is over. Lunches, homework,
Hey, how about that stereo light?
activities. But Fabric Care Cleaning Center is helping to keep the vacation alive.
You don't
with
see it.
Laundry for You service. Get your laundry picked up, washed, dried, folded, and delivered right back to you. So, just when you think your vacation is over,
Fabric Care Cleaning Center, serving Barrie, Aurelia, Gravenhurst, Bracebridge, Huntsville, and surrounding areas.
they handle the laundry, just maybe not the homework. Visit fabriccare.ca.
They're drug or alcohol addiction. They need help right away. Hi, I'm Brian from RVH's Addiction Services.
This
We
is
know
pretty
from
helpful.
experience that
This
when
is the
wait
center,
too long, people often go right back
center
to
meter
drug
moving.
addiction. That's why
Put it in the
RVH's
center.
Rapid
Doing
Access
good.
Addiction Medicine Clinic provides people with the immediate help they need. The clinic is available Monday to Friday.
I have another center
8:30 to
meter.
3:30 at 70 Wellington Street in Barrie. Take your first step to an addiction-free life. Call 705-797-3095.
Fresh 93.1 encourages our listeners to support, shop, and love local.
The One Face and Body Bar is your one-stop destination for highly professional, non-invasive beauty services, where skin is radiantly reborn. They provide and medical-grade cosmetic procedures, high-end products, and a host of exquisite spa services delivered by highly skilled and gracious staff dedicated to their craft. Visit the onefaceandbodybar.com.
Support your community. And
AVC,
love
AFC
with
check.
Fresh 93.1.
Hi, I'm Kathy Corby, sales representative with Exit Lifestyle Realty Brokerage. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, no matter how big or small,
It's in the
you
right
need
direction.
somebody who'll take the time to understand what you want. Someone who's connected, easy to contact, and who knows what's happening in the current real estate market. I believe that home is where your story begins, and I have systems and technology that'll help move you and your family to the next chapter of your story safely. Go to
Not tuned properly.
kathycorby.realtor
See,
to
this is
reach
up.
out for more information.
Mom, have you seen the toothbrush?
I think your sister had it last. Jenny, your brother needs the toothbrush.
Yeah, Jenny, it's my turn, and I'm late for school.
Oh, whatever, doofus. I'm already done with it. Go ask Dad. Honey, have you got the toothbrush? Andrew needs it.
Hold on, kiddo. I'm almost done.
Families shouldn't share everything. Talk with you.
I just realized what they were. I wasn't listening that carefully. Definitely had there. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's thumbs up at this point, and S curve, all that. I'm going to leave it just as it is, and we're going to do the FM stereo multiplex alignment next. Okay. Audio VTVM to record sockets on access brackets. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop the video. I'll set everything up for that. Okay, so looking at the SDR, you see this peak right here. This is the local oscillator frequency in the radio, and the red line here, the tuning line for the SDR, is set to 110.7. That, if I put the local oscillator here, the radio is set to receive 100. Okay, so I'm going to tune it here, and tune it with the big wheel here. There's no play in this wheel. This wheel is right on the capacitor. From the front knob though, there's quite a bit of play. It's right on. Bingo. The radio is now ready to convert 100 into 10.7. You have the IF centered on 10.7. It's thumbs up all around here. Good. Now I got to bring in the, go back and look at 100. Oops. Yeah. The signal, the sweep generator is out of tune. I can see the edge of the sweep. The edge of the sweep's right here. It should be way over here somewhere. So we'll reset the sweep here. Hey, that's not right. That shouldn't be out that far. It shouldn't be like that. What? Oh, 10.7. It's supposed to be 10. A million rather. Or 100. Some other number anyway. Some other number than the 7. This is where the center should be. Oops. It didn't work. I see what happened. On the SDR, I grabbed in this gray area. I should have grabbed here and moved the whole thing. Okay. Put the red line at 100. There we are. Kind of center of the sweep. Not quite. Just do a little fine tuning here. Well, I think that's plenty good. The sweep is very large because we really only want 100 kilohertz anyway. 100 kilohertz is 99.9, which is just, about here. So it's a very wide sweep on here. Sweep is set in accordance with the instructions in the manual, and you can see the excess sweep out here too. If I reduce the sweep width, maybe this is a better way to tune the signal generator. If I set this like that and then try to make it look perfectly balanced, just the tiniest amount. There we are. I still see a bit of a bend in here. myself. Like it's like the rate coming down here is one thing, and the rate down here is another, and that would suggest to me there's a variation in the diodes, in the detector diodes. Don't know if that's really the case, but that's where my head would go. Okay, what are we trying to do here now? We're all set up. We're trying to. We're not all set up. We need to read a voltage. I can do it with the. Maybe I'll do it with a scope, maybe. Set the generator to a usable level. Now I've got it padded here. I got a pretty good little transformer I set up there, but we can reduce it down to there. I'm pretty sure that's easily within the range of the radio. So I think we're just fine. Now I got right. I got to get on the junction. Where does test point 2 come into it? Test point 2 right here. So we set the level set. The next thing is we get rid of the 67.5 kilohertz. This hasn't worked in the past. I'm reticent to even bother trying because I have to make this connection. There probably is no 67 anyway, even in the commercial signals that we pick up. There's probably nothing there. I'm going to worry about that. I'm going to leave that out of the picture. I'm going to jump to test point 2, adjust for maximum indication. I'll put the scope on test point 2, see what it looks like. Okay, so this is coming off there. Test point 2 is right here. I don't see anything happen at all. I got this on AC. No, it's on DC, so it should jump up and down. Nothing on there. Am I doing this right? Test point 2 and adjust these for maximum indication. Oh, we need a stereo signal to do this. Duh. Okay, that's good. We're still using the sweep. The sweep is not in stereo. So I'm going to flip it to stereo left. See what happens. Stereo left, we're going to set the deviation up where it should be. Up in this area here. This sweep here doesn't mean anything, but just to make it nice, I'll make it a little bigger. Now, we should be seeing a DC voltage there. Let me ground this. Nothing there. How can that be? 0.1 volts per division. What am I doing wrong here? Because I don't have the pilot light on yet. I don't have the pilot light. I don't have the pilot signal on. Perfect. Pilot signal on. Something happened there on the scope. Oh, my SDR really likes that. Loving that. Okay, so SDR is still connected in a. Well, actually, it's connected. It's just clipped to the insulation, so it's a loose coupling to get a little signal over to the SDR. Now, did this thing jump DC wise? No. No. Adjust for maximum indication. Well, let's turn up the 19. Let's see, my deviation went wide there for some reason. So I still have no 19 kilohertz. I haven't turned it up on the signal generator yet. There's a big knob here to turn it up. Let's turn it up. Well, I can see something funny on the scope, but that's not really what the idea is. The idea is it should be going up or down. What about the stereo light? There's no stereo light. What? Why? Why no stereo light? Okay. What could be wrong with this? Could it be that changing my signal generator has caused it to change its tune, literally? So if we look on the SDR now, we see whatever it is that's on there is actually not on the 100 megahertz. Yeah, it's this weird thing. I don't know what to make of that. Let's move that and see what happens. We'll move that to the center. I'm going to watch my SDR here. And we're going to, how are we going to do that? We're going to move it. What was I going to do? I was going to retune the signal generator because I think it may have drifted a bit. Okay, we're moving it in right on 100. There's a fraction of a degree of rotation in that control. So now it's right on 100. Did anything happen up here? This is 0. Still nothing there. 19 kilohertz. No pilot light, not on. No pilot light. So previously when I tuned the radio, it looks like the IF was off by 100 kilohertz. It's just possible that what's happened now is because of the way I tuned it before, it can't operate until I retune it to the new goodness. The new goodness is right. And what exactly are we tuning? We're tuning two. This is where I made a mistake before. It's 2 coils and a transformer. 204, 205. You know what? I really like an indicating meter for doing this kind of stuff. Pretty easy to set that up. A little harder to set up the camera for it. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to zero this back down. Let me take it off first. So no signal into it, no voltage into it. Zero it back down to 0. Okay. DC plus 15 volts. Don't know what to expect. And we'll swap it out for the scope, which is what happened there. I took the scope off, and I made no difference on the screen of the scope. Mysteries abound. Okay, voltmeter on to the test point number 2. No movement on the voltmeter at all. Oh, look what yeah, test point 2. Adjust for maximum indication. So we have no pilot light. So I'm gonna take a wild guess here. I'm gonna turn up the 19 pilot full blast. I'm gonna start twiddling and see if I can make the light come on. That's the first thing. Get the light on. I mean, that's just as good as looking at a mirror. At a mirror, yeah. At a meter at this point. Okay, hey, how about coming down a little bit? Get a better view of it. It's not this bulb. It's not this bulb. It's the one down under here. You can't actually see the bulb. Now, twiddling away. Starting on the first coil. Oh, no. I wanted to tune, and see if we can make it come on. Just tune a little bit. I'm going to crank up the RF output. Oh, look at that. The light came on. Okay, down on the RF output. Maybe there. And the pilot, down on the pilot. Down to there. Make a weak pilot. Make that pilot stronger. It's barely on. I can see it though. Okay, don't go in the wrong thing. Go in the wrong thing and we're done for. Okay, so that seemed to be tuned correctly. Maybe, 19 is 19. It doesn't matter what happens in the earlier stages of the radio. Just as long as it's strong enough. This one, oh, that got a little brighter. The question is, am I getting brighter during all this? I think I am. You know that? All this is really, it's been a tough, I paid a big price to learn all this. Now this is a transformer with 2 slugs. No, it is not. Hold the fort. I'm about to do the wrong thing here. L204, 203. Here they are. 204, 205. Did I say 203? 204, 205. The 5 looks like a 3. You're my age. And transformer. Well, it may be a single slug transformer. It can be. Okay, let's just keep going then. The light is on. And turning. I need a stiffer end here. This is making no difference. Oh, yeah, there's no distinct anything here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. That's definitely the right thing. So there's nothing else left to turn anyway, but by the process of elimination, that would have to be the last device to adjust. So where are we at? So the level on here, see if I turn up the RF, I can turn down. Yes, I had this a lot more sensitive before. Let's do it with a higher RF input. I like to change the input level, change the output of my generator, and look at that, the frequency change. I got to get it back. I'm looking at the SDR now. If you're using modern digital, essentially computer-driven test equipment, these frequency shifts won't happen in the test equipment. That's quite the display there, isn't it? Super duper balanced looking thing on the SDR. Okay, did the light come on? The light is on. Let's just see if I can just back down the 19. So I don't know how this compares to a regular radio station. The amount of 19 here. But I'm going to set the light a little dull and go through them again. Okay, everything's ready to go. Go on the right. Do the right thing. Going in. Having the tape. Come on out of there. What are you doing? Having the tape is very helpful, by the way. I'm just doing this. Okay, light. Except the tape is blocking my view of the light. What happened to the light? There. That's not going to get any better. And then here. It doesn't seem to make much difference. Okay. That's the end of the alignment process. We're at the end of it. And this is the first time I feel truly comfortable, although I may have said things that I was happy with things. I really think I've got it right. I think I have good reasons to think I have it right. So, I'm going to switch to an antenna and see what we got. Sounds great. No stereo light. So I'm going to not video the next part. I'm going to have that music playing, and I'm going to fiddle around with those same 3 adjustments for the to affect the stereo light, and see if I can't get it to come in.
Get your bacon fixed before this deal is...
So twiddling those 3 doesn't do anything. The 19 kilohertz or stereo light does not come on. I picked up the antenna, waved it around a bit. It's okay where it's sitting, as much as it's kind of a weird spot to put it. The first thought that comes to mind is 19 kilohertz is getting knocked out from a bandwidth that's too tight. I hate to say that. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that happening. 19 kilohertz is just above, the range, the audio range, and of course well, I think I've done enough here today. The sound is great, but it's mono. Perhaps if we were upstairs, a little stronger FM station, maybe it'd be enough to trigger it. or if I had the actual antenna that's designed for it. I mean, this is just a pair of rabbit ears. Sound is pretty good though. Noise level's very low. Means the signal is coming through strong enough for the limiter circuit to function properly. Isn't it?
1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Get ready for Collingwood's first
Bit of a
ever
hiss there.
Fashion Week, happening Monday, September 27th to Friday, October 1st. Be a part of this truly exciting event, showcasing world-class fashion and beauty experience found in Collingwood's historic downtown. Find something to do, see, or listen to
try
every
the,
day on the street and at local
AFC.
boutiques and restaurants. Panel discussions, trunk shows, demonstrations,
Let's try again.
personal styling, and fashion shows.
AFC off.
Collingwood Fashion Week in the heart of downtown. For schedule and tickets, go to collingwoodfashionweek.com.
Trying to get everybody to agree on what's for dinner.
I have a 1 for pizza and 1 for wings. Now, can I get 2? Can I get a 3? Can I get a...
Make everybody happy with authentic Italian food from Paisano's Pizza. Paisano's has moved to a new location with even more Italian delicacies, including an espresso.
Well, I am going to stop at this point for today. A little disappointing. I don't really understand why the stereo didn't come through. Too bad it's right at the end of the line after you do everything. Yeah, okay, well that's it for today. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow. It would be nice to make this thing work in stereo. It's capable. Yeah. Okay. See ya.